Happy Devil's Tuesday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report. Coming to you live from, excuse me, from the Primetime Radio Studios here in beautiful New Jersey. A late night edition. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Episode 406, titled "The Bar Has Been Raised for Your New Jersey Devils." As the season approaches, we're approaching the eve of the Devils hockey season. Right now it's 11:32 p.m. Eastern. We've got a great podcast for you tonight, but just a programming note. We got a great, a humongous podcast tomorrow or Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern special time. Because we've got some great guests coming up tomorrow on the State of the Fan address. I'll tell you a little bit later. But tomorrow's podcast is out of control. The guests that we've got. We're talking A-list guests. Nick Villano of pucksandpitchforks.com. Putting the guest list roster together. Wow. I'm going to tease that right now and let you know at the end of this podcast who's going to be on. Could be somebody you want to see. Select the Boy is in the YouTube live right now. That Vegas banner raise was cheesy as hell. Yeesh. I didn't mind some of the special effects, but, I like shiny objects sometimes. I thought it was kind of cool where they did the slot machine or whatever. Joseph Lanham says, hey back. Hay's for horses. But the bar has been raised for the Devils. It's quite obvious. How do you top last year's team? A team that broke records. A team that broke team records, individual records, 99-point Jack Hughes. I'm sure he'll get 120 this upcoming season. But, you have to raise the bar, but at the same time, you have to manage expectations. Expectations are that the Devils are just going to destroy teams left and right, just like they did through Canada last season, with the exception of the Winnipeg Jets, but the schedule didn't help the Devils out. But not making any kind of excuses, but the bar has been raised, but we also have to manage our expectations because the goaltending is not elite. It's good enough. Some potential with Akira Schmid. Defense, a little young. Taking away Ryan Graves and Damon Severson, who has been the continuity on that blue line for a few years. More so with Graves a few years, but Severson over a decade. Supernova says DEVILSLGD. Thank you for joining, Supernova. I was actually at American Whiskey earlier this evening. Because of Windows updates, it kept on updating for an hour. I decided to leave. Couldn't do a podcast to test the systems that I installed at the bar. A little update on Crew Brew. It's almost ready. Most likely it won't be ready by Thursday, possibly Friday. Again, I'm just going by my sources. Basically, Brian told me. And I just want to manage the expectations, like how we should manage the expectations of the New Jersey Devils. But I will say that the Crew Brew will be coming. But let's get back to the topic at hand here. That, you know what? The Devils are going to have some growing pains with Luke Hughes. And that's natural. I'm not saying Luke Hughes sucks. I'm just saying, you know what? The kid's young. Simon Nemitz starting in Utica. I think that was a great move by Tom Fitzgerald and Lindy Ruff. You don't need to rush Nemitz. Let him develop. Let him find his game, fine-tune his game. He looked pretty good through during training camp, during preseason. Dubs is like, the defense is very young, Sam, but I think they'll score at a high clip that will probably cover that up a bit. Let's take the next step, overtake the Canes, LGD. Good point, Dubs is like. I think they will score. I think they're going to pad on a lot of the scoring against, some of the opponents that don't have much firepower. But I also don't want – it's hard to top 112, 111 points from last season. They had a great season last season. But what's scary about it is they never hit their potential. And some of these players, such as Timo Meyer and Jesper Bratt, signing those long-term deals, they're about to hit their prime. Which is scary to think that the amount of scoring they did last season, they're about to hit their prime. Jack Hughes is still in his early 20s. Nico Hischier, he's getting a little older, but still so young. And I think right now, this is going to build the 2024-2025. I think the Devils are going to have a great regular season. I'm not going to say that they're going to dominate. It's hard to say that when they went 7-0 in preseason. Well, that's preseason. Okay? It's a long 82-game season. You've got the outdoor game. You've got the pressure of the national media being on national TV and coverage. The rest of the media, they want to see the Devils because they know that they're going to be exciting. They're marketable. They're young. They're fresh. They're out with Sidney Crosby and Malkin and in with Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier. But my expectations are, look, get in the playoffs and go far into the playoffs. Regular season to me, okay, there are some individual accolades. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be some rivalry games. I like to beat up on Toronto. I like to beat up on Jacob Trouba. I like to annex Canada again. There's a lot of things we could do in the regular season. Win the outdoor game. Beat the Coyotes on Friday and at the Mullet. Beat Vegas in Vegas, where we're going to do that trip, Arizona and Vegas. Supernova says they should be fine as long as they play the right way as opposed to the wrong, LOL. Or, yeah. Well, you know what? It's a long season. I think Lindy Ruff is pushing all the right buttons right now. Remember, a lot of fans wanted to fire Lindy Ruff this time last season. What a turnaround. But right now, Lindy Ruff, he can roll 4 lines. He's got depth that he's never had before as the Devils head coach. He's got so much potential brewing here. And take it for what it's worth. Lindy's looking for his first cup as a head coach. And I think he's got the horses to do it. It may not be this season, but just enjoy the progress. Enjoy this team. This team is fun to watch. It's a privilege to watch this type of skill, speed. But the Devils, is what dog trainer Joe says, ranked number 1, most watchable. They are watchable. They are silly good. They're scary good. We've never seen anything like this. Now, we can always debate about it. Is this the most talented Devils team in the franchise history? That remains to be seen. I still think the 2000-2001 team, which didn't win the Cup, unfortunately, had Marty Brodeur, a Hall of Fame defense, and led the league in scoring, led by the A-line. Top to bottom, that was a fantastic team. But Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier and company have the opportunity to surpass that. But it all comes down to goaltending and defense. How will they fare? I think the defense will be fine by the end of the regular season, going into the playoffs. Don't forget, John Marino is entering his prime right now. John Marino's a stopper. Kevin Ball, wow, improved. Chico Resch, good friend of the podcast, has alluded that he's impressed with Kevin Ball. I think Kevin Ball is also a factor with John Marino. Dougie Hamilton, with the support he has on the power play, Dougie Hamilton is going to get a lot of points as a defenseman. We just got to worry about the shorthanded chances going the other way. Selector Boy says, this looks like a team that's not going to rely on one player to carry them all season. And that's true. They've got a support system now. I mean, you even look out on the ice and the X's and O's, it just seems like the Devils are just toying with their opponents. That, take a shot on goal, suddenly they've got the puck again. They're great positioning, great vision, creativity. Supernova says, Ball looks like he's going to bring the offense. Like a Chara? I hope so. Oh, the potential of this defense. There's a huge upside to it. But can they get there quickly? And Akira Schmid, Vitek Vanacek, the tandem. Let's see how they fare in the first half of the season. Tom Fitzgerald, there's been reports that he was looking for goaltenders. Well, as he should. He should always be looking for improving the team. But right now, the first half of the season is really just show us what you got, Vitek and Akira. Survey says, I watched the Pens versus Chicago game, and Devils looked like they would dominate both those teams easily. Yeah, I mean, really, it's a mental thing as well. The Devils, I think their mindset and attitude is much better than what it was 2 years ago. And the experience that they got last season, especially during the playoffs, is going to serve them very well. Very well. Supernova 68 says, Pens look slow. Well, that's good because they're old. And there's a new sheriff in town in the Metropolitan Division, and they're called the New Jersey Devils. But they've got to deal with the Carolina Hurricanes. They still got to deal with the New York Rangers. Not worried about the Islanders. Not worried about the Flyers. The jury's still out on the BJs, the Blue Jackets. The Capitals, Tom Wilson. I don't know. But yeah, let's see here. Pens are the oldest team in the league, says Matt Freudenberger. Matt Freudenberger, you're going to have to try the Ant Crew Brew when it comes out. I will let you know. I hope you join us at American Whiskey. As I was setting up there tonight, it's going to be a wonderful Happy Devils Thursday opening night. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also on Friday as well. I just don't like how the NHL scheduled that back-to-back. I mean, it is cool for the hardcore fan, but you know what? It kind of dilutes Thursday, Friday, and Monday, says Matt Freudenberger. Yeah, you got to try the Ant Crew Brew. A red light lager for you, the fans. Our podcast beer. Love it. All right. So I was teasing you about the State of the Fan address presented by pucksandpitchforks.com. Nick Villano, editor-in-chief. I got the lineup for the podcast tomorrow, Wednesday night, special time, 8 p.m. Eastern. You want to know? Let me ask you on social media. You want to know who's going to be on? We'll put it out on social media a little later. We got Dan Rice at pucksandpitchforks.com. We got Alex Chavancy of, he's doing his own thing, and I forgot where sorry, Alex, I forgot. You just got a new gig. I think it's with the Hockey News, but I forgot. Catherine Bogart of New Jersey Devils. Ben Burnell. Some Utica Comets talks. And Devils play-by-play announcer on MSG Networks, Bill Spaulding, will be on the State of the Fan address. First time on the Let's Go Devils podcast. Yes, Bill Spaulding will be on in the Primetime Radio studios, beaming him in. I'm really looking forward to talking to Bill. First time we found out, we had Steve Cangelosi on in years past. Bill in his rookie season. Again, you know what? He was focused, and what a heck of a time. He comes on board. It's very Doc Emmerich-like. And Bill Spaulding is great. Yeah, Bill Spaulding is great. He will be on the State of the Fan address presented by pucksandpitchforks.com. All thanks to Nick Villano. Supernova says, can we get Ellen Hughes? Yes. I will try to get Ellen Hughes at American Whiskey one day. I got to talk to Big Jim because she is the MVP of the New Jersey Devils. We all know this. So if we ever get Ellen Hughes on this podcast, you better start chanting MVP throughout the entire interview. If we get her on the big stage at American Whiskey, which we will be there. Yes, be there or be square at American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place, across the street from Prudential Center next to Championship Plaza. On the big stage, in the middle of Edison Place, outside of American Whiskey. If we could get Ellen Hughes, you better chant MVP, because she is the MVP of the New Jersey Devils. But yeah, just to recap, we've got Bill Spaulding, Dan Rice, Alex Chavancy, Catherine Bogart, good friend of the podcast, and Ben Burnell. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. See you at 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday on the State of the Fan address, 8 p.m. Eastern special time. Be there or be square. And we'll put it out on social media just to remind you and beat in your head. You got to be there for Bill Spaulding. You got to be there. I'm nervous now. Anyway, I don't even know what to ask. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Anyway, all right. The bar has been raised for the Devils. It's getting late right now. Dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music Prime, Audible, iHeart app, wherever you get our podcast. Thank you for this late night talk. And I'm going to hit the music. Yeah, I'm going to hit the music because I better rest up. I got to save my voice. We got a lot of podcasts coming your way. We got Bill Spaulding tomorrow. Are you kidding me? We got Bill Spaulding. Great job, Nick. Great job. And also, we got some, we'll probably announce tomorrow our first road podcast live viewing party, October 24th. We have more information about that. It's coming over the wire. Also, Ant Crew Brew is coming any day now to American Whiskey and possibly to a bar near you. Okay, that's all the plugging for now. This is the Woo Report. Till next time, let's go Devils.